folks. Morning. Good morning to you too, pilot. We've already gone that way out of the van. Oh, do you want to the front seat? Okay, sorry. My bad, bro. My bad. Morning. Important thing happened today. That's vinegar and water. Don't worry, folks. The Floaties was nothing major. Some little bit of buildup on the bottom of the kettle there. That's why it was white, and that's why I could crush it and it got flaky or powdery. The campground that I was at and I was getting my water from has hard water. Dirty ass water. Like, dirty. Like, yeah. But luckily I got my filter set up. Maybe that'll be another video, maybe. Water. Yeah, let's do all this stuff because remember I was talking about this? We're gonna fix that today. Yep. Vinegar, water, boil it. It's like clean AF in there. I'll still scrub it out, but vinegar is wild. Dr. Melissa put me on it a while ago. What a great cleaning agent. It really is. That, yeah. I cleaned yesterday. Well, I didn't make a video yesterday. I didn't feel like fucking talking. Didn't feel like it. And I'm not gonna just do it to do it. So that's that. Yeah. I don't even know. We might go handheld for this. We might try to set you up. This is, if we tilt it, it's gonna get met. Oh, if I prop it up in the corner here, you can't really see shit though. Maybe we'll do that. I don't know. You're probably still not gonna be able to see it. Oh well. I don't know why I'm making a big to-do of this. Probably because I can't think anything better to talk about. It's the rear fan fuse. You ready? Listen. Did you hear a beep? I heard a beep. Oh, this one's facing the wrong way. Oh God, it's mad. Oh dear. Ah! The 10 wasn't facing the same way. Look. Okay, yeah, the rest of them are good. Right? Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about electrical today, folks. What I was griping about. Oh, here we go. Oh, don't drop it, Alan. Oh, boy. You dizzy yet? That 10 was facing the wrong way. It wasn't, it was like the one was on this side. Why isn't this thing focusing? Focus. Oh well. There it is. My hand. Doesn't want to show you my nasty nails. Alright. Yeah, so fuse is back in. So electrical system. Why is this zoomed in? What the heck? Guys, what is going on today? It looks like a mess, but I think it's fairly tidy. So this is under the bench seat. This is where the cushions usually are. Ideally, there shouldn't probably be anything else in here because it's like a fire hazard. Like all my like paperwork and stuff and like random notebooks and that stuff's important. That's for the shitter. Those are refills for the shitter. Don't want to lose those in a fire. Oh man, I don't know where to hang that. Y'all got any advice on that? It's a pretty cool carving, but I don't know where to put it. It hangs. I would have to figure something else out. I don't want to drill through it, but I think I'd have to drill through it because the way stuff rattles in here, it's just like no bueno. Okay. Yeah, so electrical system. I have 3 Battleborn batteries. I have everything run through a shunt, which is that mamma jamma there. That gives me like a live feed of like, that's what this thing is the display, and it gets all of its information off of the shunt, which is off of the negative. So it tells me how many hours I could run at the current draw rate, what my voltage is, how many amps I'm drawing at this current moment, wattage, total amp hour draw, and current percentage. Did I say that already? No, because I started with hours. Haha. So that thing's really super useful. Super useful. And Victron has an app, so I have an app and I can view that if I don't want to look at the screen. Which sometimes happens, but not often. That is my solar controller. That is also made by Victron. And that has an app as well. Well, no, it's all part of the same app. I guess what I should have said is they're Bluetooth. You can link up Bluetooth to it and see live stuff from your phone. I have everything run off of bus bars. That's pretty common. I have resettable circuit breakers for everything. I don't want to say it's not common, but it's not maybe everybody's first choice. A lot of people run fuses, but for something that big, those fuses are quite expensive. And by quite expensive, I'm probably just, being lame and saying like they're like $8 or $10. And you shouldn't be blowing fuses, because if you do, you have something wrong. But anywho, yeah, I have the van split. So there's this distribution block, which is run through a circuit breaker. And then I have one that goes to the other side of the van. So that conduit. See, this is what I'm talking about. I gotta move Pilot's bed just to do stuff. Ugh, this disaster. That conduit comes down there and it goes into the floor. You're probably not gonna be able to see it. Oh yeah, you can. Goes into the floor, goes underneath, comes up on this side. One of them goes into the wall, one of them comes into the cabinet here. And ends up feeding. This was kind of dumb. So I was just looking at this. It feeds that bus bar. So the wires that go through the floor are right here. And I don't know really what I was thinking. Maybe I was like thinking, oh, you'll expand, so you need more terminals. Like, I don't know. I really don't. Because, like, I could have just added that later, if that ever happened. But I guess I was trying to, like, be ahead of the game for everything. I have no freaking clue. But anyways, so I have my own distribution block here with all the fuses. The furnace runs through there. A couple other things. What is that? lights. Huh. What? Oh! Huh? Look at me, guys. I forgot. This one doesn't even have a freaking fuse in it. Lights. I was going to put lights under the upper cabinet there. Son of a biscuit. Look at me looking ahead. Look at that. I ran everything through the walls. I didn't want wires, or I wanted as few wires outside on the walls as possible, so there's all conduit inside the walls. I need to put soap in my dispenser. This is the lovely DC to DC battery charger that likes to work only sometimes, mostly not. So that's that. That charges the batteries off of the engine. So I have a wire that runs through the floor, all the way over here and up, through that conduit right there. And it's 4-gauge wire, I think. Nice and stout. So that charges the batteries when the engine's running. What else is in here? Yeah, that's that. Inverter. Way overkill, but is what it is. It's like a 3,000 or 3,500 watt inverter. I don't run anything even close to that. It's 2,000 would have been totally fine, but I think for the price point, it just kind of made sense to go with this one. It's nothing fancy. It's not a Victron. It's like a just off-the-shelf type situation. I'm pretty sure I got it from Napa. Nothing crazy. I got my single plug because I don't really run anything. I charge my toothbrush, I run the electric kettle, and a laptop. Almost never. So, yeah. What else? Oh, wire sizing. Folks, if you ever do shit like this, ever, make sure you have the proper size wire. Don't go cheaping out and getting, oh no, it's fine. This is enough. I'm never going to run, that much power through it. Like, no, get the right fucking wire. Period. And another common misconception is fuses. Fact check me on this, by all means. I think I can quit showing you shit and just talk. It's kind of a mess. This is extra stuff. Johnny, I don't use your toolbox for what it's intended, but it is a good organization kit. Well, let's go through that maybe. What do I carry that's extra? That water pump that was going bad. That's cool. I didn't plan this out. Here, pilot, hold that. Thanks. A furnace repair kit. That's the glow plug screen that gums up all the time and the gaskets to rebuild the furnace. So if I ever need to, I can do it. Headlights, because you never know when a headlight's going to go out. Nuts, bolts, screws, things like that. A little couple crimp connectors there. Yeah, have yet to touch this or use it or need it. Fuses. These are those big fuses. So I do have one, and that is right there. That is the main disconnect for the entire system. So if I switch that switch there, if I switch the switch from on to off, it kills power to the entire van. There is a fuse first thing off of the batteries, which is right there. Yeah. What else? I need to talk still about the fuse size, but I saw this and I got distracted. Switches, extra lights. These are the puck lights up here, just in case one goes bad. What else? What else? Oh, the strap for it, just in case I actually decide to really use it as a tackle box and carry it somewhere. That's useful. Oh, extra breakers, just in case one goes bad. They're great. They really are. They're freaking pricey though. I want to say like one of these suckers is $70-$80. But they're nice. They really are. Because if something goes bad, or if something pops, like that's working, that's not. You just, boop, okay, reset. What's going on here? After you fix the problem. Because if it pops, there's usually a problem. So, a couple of those extra. Okay. Oh, dang it. Oh, no, I can do it. I was like, I can't flip. For some reason, somebody tell me about this. So I have a Google Pixel phone. It's a little bit older one. Nothing like too old, though. And for some darn reason... Oh, God. You guys dizzy yet or what? Okay. For some dang reason, I can't switch from, like, back camera to front camera while videoing. Like, apps let you do it. Like, why can't the freaking camera? I don't get it. Like, is it that hard to figure out, Google? Like, I don't know. You're watching and listening to everything else I got to say. Here's a little freaking piece of improvement for you, fuckers. Oh, fuse size. So, you get a device, right? You're like, oh, I got my fridge, I got my lights, whatever. Let me read the manual. No, I mean, no one ever says that, but, whatever. Max draw is 10 amps, right? Max draw. Doesn't say it's going to, but that's the max the fridge will ever take, Usually that's probably initial startup or something like that. Usually the case. So, you're like, oh, I need a 10 amp fuse. Kind of true. Kind of. Your fuse isn't actually meant to, like, save the device. It's meant to save the wire. So, let's say the manual states in there, 10 amp maximum draw, like ever, but, 5 amp working load or whatever, So you're like, oh, cool. I got a bunch of X wire, I don't know what offhand could handle 5 amps because there's a lot of things that go into that. Another point that this will go into, you're going to run, let's say, 18 gauge wire, for 20 feet each leg because DC. So you have your positive, your negative, red, black, whatever colors you like to use, doesn't matter. You should probably try to keep it industry standard just because if anyone ever needs to help you work on something or if you sell it, like, it should be pretty easy, like, to understand, like, what you meant by that, like what wires mean, essentially just by their color. It's not a total give-in because stuff changes, but it's pretty normal that red is positive, black is negative in a DC situation. But then you go AC and the black one is the, like, positive or the hot. It's not necessarily positive because it's alternating current, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, that was a tangent I shouldn't probably have gone on, but we're here. Wire size and fuse size. So your fuse is meant to protect your wire because kind of end all be all, like, that is what's probably going to light on fire before your device is. So if you try running, like I said, that 18 gauge wire, 20 feet, and you have a 10 amp fuse in there because the manual said, it can run 10, like a maximum of 10 amps. And but the working, amperage on that thing is 5 amps. So you're like, 18 gauge, it's going to be plenty. That can handle 6.5 amps. I have an amp and a half of like kind of wiggle room, and you install it and it's good to go. And you have 10 amp fuse in there. The fuse is the first thing in line from your power source, right? Should be. Then it goes from the fuse, it'll go to the wire that goes to the device. Well, that 10 amp situation, say for some reason it needs 9 amps that day, which is within spec from the manufacturer because the 10 is the maximum, and your wire is only rated for a maximum of 6.5. I'm not saying it's gonna catch on fire. I don't know at what rating, or I don't know what it takes to light wires on fire, essentially. Really, it's the insulation, like the rubber insulation that's on it. I don't know how much you need to exceed the rating for that to happen. I don't know. No idea. But your fuse doesn't know that, hey, my wire's not rated for that amount, like stop. It knows that you put in a 10 amp fuse and you thought you should put your fuse in according to the device, which is like most times wrong, depending. In my case, it would be totally fine, which brings me to my next subject of oversizing your wires. And there's this really cool app, Blue Sea, like blue the color, sea as in like the ocean, SEA. They're a marine component manufacturer. That's actually who all the breakers are from, the distribution blocks, the fuse distribution blocks, and then the bus bars, all Blue Sea components. They're really, really nice, really well made. They have an app to help you determine your wire size. And it tells you like what industry recommends and then the actual requirement. So for instance, if you have a 10 amp 10 amp maximum draw, say fridge or device or whatever, it asks you for the amperage draw, so you should put in 10 amp maximum, right? Or the 5 amp, working amount, okay? Like that the manual said. Cool. It asks you how long is the wire run, and that is both legs because it needs to complete the circuit, unlike AC, where it goes to the device and that's it. It can go back. So for DC, you need to know both the positive and the negative leg length of the wire. So say 40 feet, 20 each way. So you put that in, the length, the voltage, and there was something else. It's a really cool app. It asks you a bunch of questions. Is the wire in a bundle? What's the insulation rating on the wire? So if you read your wire, the fine print on it, it'll tell you what your insulation rating is. It'll tell you the temperature at which it's rated to. There's probably a couple other questions in that app. I don't have it any longer because I'm done wiring this, but it was super freaking handy. But anyways, it'll then give you an answer. It'll tell you, hey, it's recommended, I think it goes off of like electrical code. It's recommended because of your length of wire is usually the culprit as to why they upsize you wire. We recommend that you run, 14 gauge wire. But then below that, it'll say, per the requirements or per the specs you put in, you really only need 20 gauge, but here's why we recommend 14. And it's super freaking cool. I upsized everything because you pretty much can't go wrong. And also, I don't know if it was end all cheaper, but I told myself it was just going to be cheaper in the long run to buy, big spools of one size of wire for everything. Like these lights, I think all of them on draws like 2.5 amps. You know, so like, I don't know, but arbitrarily I probably could have got away with 20 or 22 gauge wire, like easily, which is that's really small. But I'm pretty sure I put 16 on this, which is way overkill, like way overkill. But I just kept it pretty consistent, so that way I didn't need to buy a ton of different connectors. You know, I need, 16 gauge connectors, 20, 18, 12, 14. Like, you're not going to go wrong by oversizing your wire. Like, you can't go wrong. It's a little more spendy the bigger wire you get, but if you buy it in bulk and you say, hey, I need, 500 foot of, 14, 12, whatever gauge wire, well, it's probably going to be cheaper in the long run safety wise, and the fact that you won't have a bunch of different connectors, different wire, because then you got to figure your waste, right? How much can you dial in as far as like your length of wire goes? Okay, well, I only need 30 foot of 20 gauge, and I only need 8 foot of 12 gauge. I only need this, like, you can only buy these things in certain lengths. You can't, usually you can't get custom length. And if you can, you're probably paying for it for that reason. They probably put a higher dollar cent per foot price because you're getting a custom length. Anyways, tangent again. Yeah, oversize your wires, folks. Just today, just for the heck of it, and I've been meaning to do this, but I drew 100 amps today for 5 minutes straight, like continuous. So that's like a solid reason. Like, don't undersize your wires. You think you might not run stuff, and then something happens. Like, I ran out of propane, so I got that electric kettle. Well, is 1100 watts at 120 volts. I don't have a real calculator because my calculator's there, but if you take watts divided by volts, I think gives you amperage, which makes sense, right? So yeah, right. Well, so if we took 1100 watts, yeah, 1100 divided by 120 or 110, whatever, because that's the voltage that it runs at. Then we're looking at 11 some odd amps, right? Well, 11 amps out of the inverter, but we're drawing off of, and that's 110, 120 volt. We're drawing off of a 12 volt system. It needs to step all that up. So then you need to, I forget how to go from 120 to 12. I don't know if you then need to just multiply that amperage by the voltage difference, which is probably dang close, because I mean 12 volt, we'll call it 120, so the difference is 118? So 118 times 11? No, that would be wrong. I forget how to do it. But anyways, yeah, the kettle draws out of the batteries 90 some odd amps. And then I was running the furnace and lights on and stuff like that. So you end up drawing a lot more power than you think. So especially your battery cables, your main connections into things that like should be a large wire, you definitely need to make sure you do the calculations and have the right size wire so you don't cause a fire. That's probably my most nerve-wracking thing about the entire van, besides a little bit of a plumbing thing. This is probably my biggest worry, like, in the whole thing. I mean, it's been over a year, nothing's happened, but that doesn't mean something can't happen. So, yeah. It's one of those things. Educate yourself. Don't take my word as, like, fact. Yeah, take it as an opinion. Do your own research. Make sure you understand fully what you're doing. Within reason, because I still don't fully understand what I did or what's going on. But I felt comfortable enough to be like, well, let's see. Yeah. That is that. I think that's all I'm going to ramble about today. Let's double check it works. It works. Good stuff. All right, folks. Have a good rest of your day, yeah? If any of you folks want to know or see a particular part of the van in like detail, let me know. I can almost guarantee it won't be a weekday video. I ain't got time for that shit. I can only wake up so early. Like, I'm up at 3:45 to do a 20-minute ramble anyways. So I ain't waking up at no 2 o'clock to rip apart the van and show you something. Sorry. Not sorry. But a weekend video. If you wanted to see, I don't know, whatever. Let me know. Let me know. You figure out how to let me know. I refuse to say the stupid YouTube thing of like those 3 things. You know? The Fucking refuse to. It's ridiculous. There's a couple people I still watch, like, because I really enjoy their shit. But vast majority, if like somebody says that on YouTube and they're like, just like a, I don't know, content creator or like a whatever, no, I'm not gonna watch your shit anymore. Like, don't tell me what to do. I know what to do, and I'll do it if I feel I want to or need to. Okay, that's it. Before I rant again, have a good day. Cheers.